Okay, again, good morning, students. So today I will repeat the concept of DNA replication. So I'll just give you the basics now. We have learned some of the concepts earlier. So to start with, DNA replication, we are going to have to replicate the DNA to make copies of the DNA. And this happens with the DNA opening a replication fork, right? Now, the DNA replication fork, right? For example, we have the DNA. Now, this DNA is going to form, right? So we are going to have the DNA, and this DNA forms replication fork. Now, what do you mean by that? That means the DNA here, the double-stranded DNA, at certain point, it is going to separate the two strands of DNA. So these form by the process of the replication fork. Because of that, we are going to have single-stranded DNA or ssDNA. So on one hand, on the left side, you're going to have the double-stranded DNA. On this side, you're going to have the single-stranded DNA. And this is what we refer that as the replication fork. Now, you have to understand that in each of this DNA, we are going to have, let's say, 3' and 5' end, and the other one is going to be 5' to 3' terminal. So always remember, we write the position, we write this orientation based on left to right. Whatever we have from left to right, that is our orientation. So for this one, it is 3' to 5', and for this strand it is 5' to 3', right? That is a simple one. And we have also learned that for this replication fork to open, right, there are a set of enzymes. Now those enzymes are DNA gyrase, we call it, or let's say the topoisomerase, right? So what these enzymes will do, they'll basically help in opening this up. And after it is opened, please all of you switch off your microphones. And after this is done, then there is another protein called the SSB protein, or that is called the single strand binding protein. And this single strand binding protein will stabilize this replication fork that has opened the single stranded DNA. So your DNA, this particular part is going to be bonded with this single stranded binding protein. We can call this is the SSB proteins. And again, remember, this SSB protein is going to help in stabilizing the single stranded DNA. Now, once we have this single stranded DNA protein stabilizing this entire structure, then what happens? Then there is RNA primase, right? And this RNA primase, this enzyme, it basically forms an RNA primer. Okay, it will form RNA primase. It develops a RNA primer. Now, why is RNA primer important? The RNA primer is essential because it is going to help the DNA dependent DNA polymerase. Remember, that is the enzyme that we are talking about here. So for the replication, we require DNA dependent DNA polymerase. And for this DNA polymerase to work, which is going to polymerize the new strand from 5' to 3' direction, right? We need the primer to be there, the RNA primer to be there. And based on the RNA primer, or that starting that, it is going to use that as a starting point to polymerize the DNA strand. So if you can see here, we are going to have 3' to 5' orientation. That means, and here you're going to have the 5' to 3' orientation. That means the new strand, as I said, it is going to be polymerized in 5' to 3' orientation. So here, if you see this end, right, it is going to be 3' here, and this is going to be 5'. Similarly, if we talk about here, if I put something here, right, it is going to be 3' here, and it is going to be 5' here. So here what is going to happen is there are two types of strands that are going to be produced. One is called the what do you call that, leading strand, and the second one is called the lagging strand. So what is a leading strand and what is a lagging strand? Then we'll go on actually making it the diagram. So leading strand means here the strand that is produced, right? Let us write it down. So we are having a leading strand and we are having a lagging strand. So in case of leading strand, what we have a continuous strand synthesis, right? So here you have a continuous synthesis of the new strand of DNA. New DNA strand. But in this case, lagging strand, there is a discontinuous synthesis of the new DNA strand. And here, the DNA that is going to be formed in the lagging strand, DNA that is going to be formed, these are formed as fragments. DNA fragments are formed. And these DNA fragments, dear students, are referred to as Okazaki fragments. These are called Okazaki fragments. Are you clear on these things? Able to understand these?
Sir.
Okay. So right
Yes,
now
yes.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to, yeah. Okay, good. So I'm going to now quickly show you one particular image, and then we'll go back to the blackboard drawing how it is done or what is happening actually. So let me open that for you. It's a textbook, this thing. Okay. So just a second. Yeah. Okay, let's go to full screen. Okay. So what you see here is the DNA replication with the DNA replication fork. So as I said that there is the replication fork. This particular part, let me use a pen. Okay. So this particular part, this is going to be the continuous strand, right? And this is going to be the discontinuous strand, discontinuous synthesis. Now you see here that this particular area, it is going to form the replication fork. All the area here is going to be replication fork. Whereas here it is, you are going to have the DNA, right? Double stranded DNA. Now, which is going to act the template DNA. Now on this hand, if you see carefully, we are going to have a strand that is going to be 5 prime to 3 prime. So here what is going to happen is the DNA synthesis is going to be continuous. That is, from the end, it is going to be 5 prime to 3 prime. But on the other hand, we are going to have this 3 prime to 5 prime end, right? Now here what is going to happen is, you're going to have the synthesis, but again, it is going to be discontinuous, right? Here, 5 prime, this is your 3 prime end, again 5 prime, and again 3 prime. Again here, this is a 5 prime end, again this is 5 prime end, and here you're going to have the 3 prime end. So here, each of these are 1 fragments, and each of these are called the Okazaki fragments. So here the DNA synthesis is actually discontinuous and it is not a continuous one, just like the other one is continuous synthesis, but here it is discontinuous synthesis. And based on that, this particular part is called the leading strand, and here it is called the lagging strand. Remember that in mind. So another diagram, it is actually shown to again understand the concept. So as you can see here, we are going to have one strand. These are all parental DNA duplex, and you can see this is the replication fork, and the replication fork keep on increasing. You're going to have a leading strand that is continuous 5 prime to 3 prime on the inner side, and you're going to have the lagging strand which is going from in to out, into out. Okay, so that is basically leading strand and lagging strand. I hope you are clear on that. Now I'm going to stop here and I'm going to go back to the blackboard to make you understand the concept. So let me make again another diagram slightly bigger than the previous one so that we can understand. Okay. Okay, so here let's see let's say that what we have taken. Okay, 3 prime and 5 prime, and this is going to be 3 prime, 5 prime to 3 prime. So as we said, the DNA dependent DNA polymerase is going to polymerize the new DNA strands in which direction? 5 prime to 3 prime direction. And as you see here, this is one end is going to be 5 prime and this one end is going to be 3 prime. And your DNA synthesis, see, it is direction of replication fork, right? So this one is the direction of movement of replication fork. Okay, so in this direction the replication fork is going to go on. So let's just make few DNA strands to make it proper. Okay, this is our DNA double strand, and here we are going to have the individual strands, right? So here also you're going to have the same. Now the question to everybody is, where do you think is going to be the new DNA strand? I just showed you two strands. Where do you think the new DNA strand is going to continue the synthesis? Continuous synthesis is going to start here or here? First one or second one? This one or this one? Which one?
Second one, sir, the lower one.
Second.
Good, good, good.
Lower
So
one.
second one is going to give us the continuous strand, right? Why? Because here the template DNA, right? Always what you have to understand is there's a term called template DNA. So as I've said earlier, template means what? Template is something based on which we are creating something else. And here template DNA means it is a DNA which is going to act as a template for the synthesis of the new DNA strand. That is, based on the sequence of the DNA here, the new DNA strand is going to be created, and that is going to be complement. They are going to follow the rule of complementarity. If the template strand is having A, T, C, G, then the a new strand which is going to be found based on complementarity, that is going to be what? T, A, G, C, complementary. So here also what is going to happen is 3 prime is 5 prime to 3 prime the strand. Here the new DNA synthesis strand is going to continue in this particular fashion. But again, as I said before, the DNA dependent DNA polymerase cannot polymerize right away. Instead, what happens? There is the addition of a primer, and this is RNA primer, which is going to be added by the RNA primase enzyme. So the RNA primase comes, adds one RNA primer, and once the RNA primer is formed, then what will happen is then the DNA dependent DNA polymerase, right? So this enzyme DNA polymerase, this is going to come and it is going to act, it is going to attach here, and it is going to form the new DNA, right? It is going to start synthesizing the new DNA. So now if you're going to put the polarity here, right? So this one is going to be 5 prime. Why? Because if it is 3 prime, always remember that DNA double helix always going to have an, right? So your DNA double standard DNA double helix, DNA double helix always be anti-parallel in nature, right? So what do you mean by anti-parallel? If one strand is going to be 3 prime to 5 prime, then the complementary strand has to be 5 prime to 3 prime. So 1 5 prime to 3 prime, 1 3 prime to 5 prime. So here 5 prime and here it is going to be 3 prime. Clear? Are you clear on this? So this is how your new DNA strand is going to be created. So your leading strand, new DNA strand, we can write this. This is the continuous synthesis goes on here, and this is your leading strand. Now what about the second one? Here the problem is, here it is in the opposite orientation, 3 prime to 5 prime. Now I cannot add a primer here. Why cannot I add a primer here? Because the strand here, because the strand here is having 5 prime polarity, and we cannot add another one which is again of the same 5 prime polarity. We cannot add. So instead what happens is, as the DNA, for example, I'm going to give example. For example, it is slightly open. So if it is open up to here, replication fork is, let's say, open up to here. So now what will happen? If it is up to here, the RNA primase will come and form a, or it is going to add a primer, RNA primer, right at the end of the replication fork. So once the replication fork is going to be having this RNA primase, right, there is going to be synthesis of new strand. So here what happens again, this is the 5' end, this is the 3' end. So this is going to satisfy what? It is going to satisfy the polarity of DNA dependent DNA polymerase. Now similarly, the DNA polymerase, sorry, the replication fork by now have moved up to here. It has opened up to here. So what is going to happen is there is going to be another addition of the RNA primer by the enzyme primase, and that will form, right, that will form the new RNA primer. And once you have the RNA primer, again you know that the new DNA strand is going to be synthesized, right? New DNA strand synthesized in what? 5' to 3' direction. Okay, it is synthesized in 5' to 3' direction. Okay, I have forgotten this. So it is going to be all double stranded. So this one, each of these are what? These are all fragments. So these new fragment, these are called Okazaki fragments. Okay, and this is going to be the discontinuous discontinuous synthesis. Okay, so that is how your DNA is going to replicate. So what next? The process continues. More and more the replication fork opens till the DNA synthesis is complete. The replication fork will keep on opening, and it is going to keep on synthesizing on this strand. Remember, on the continuous strand, or this one with the polarity of 5' to 3', the new strand will keep on forming 5' to 3' continuously. The more the replication fork open, the better, the higher the length of the DNA, or the process will continue. But on the other hand, here what is going to happen is this is going to synthesize in fragments. So as and when there is more DNA, or your replication fork is opened, the DNA is available, single strand DNA is available, again there is an RNA primer, and that will form a new fragment. So always on this strand with the polarity of 3' to 5', the DNA synthesis is going to be discontinuous. On the other hand, here there is always going to be a continuous strand synthesis. Now that is the basic of DNA replication. Question is, are we going to have this RNA primer always, or are we going to remove it? Now if it is removed, what removes it? And here there are gaps, right? These nicks are there, or the gaps are there between each of these Okazaki fragments. What is going to seal it, or are they joint or not? Because we know the DNA is always continuous, it is not fragmented like the Okazaki fragments. So there must be a mechanism that is going to allow this to join. Clear? So now what happens is, at a later point of time, all of these RNA primers that are there, the RNA primers are actually removed, and they are going to be filled with the DNA molecules, right? DNA fragment. Similarly, here also all of these RNA primers are removed, and they're filled with the DNA molecules. Now there are different polymerases which are going to help involved in this process. For example, in case of prokaryotes, you have the DNA pol 1, pol 2, pol 3, and the regular process of synthesis is typically taken care by the DNA polymerase 3. And these processes, DNA pol 1 actually is going to be involved. It removes and fills the DNA molecule. RNA primer is removed, DNA filled. Now these gaps, right? The Okazaki fragments, remember the Okazaki fragments, they're joined by enzyme called DNA ligase. So this DNA ligase, it is basically ligates. Ligates means what in biology? Ligates means joining. So the DNA ligase ligates the DNA fragments here. So once these RNA primers are removed by a particular type of enzyme, a particular type of polymerase, and filled with the DNA molecule, the DNA ligase is going to come here, and it is going to form a continuous strand of DNA. When? After the replication fork is, after the replication is over, they will remove the RNA primer, add the DNA molecule, and DNA ligase will join the nick or join the gaps, forming a continuous strand of DNA. So that is how the process of DNA replication in general takes place in the organisms. Are you clear with these things, dear students?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts now? Other students, are you listening? Or you are switching on the mobile and going somewhere?
Present, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Chalo, chalo, chalo. Fine. So now the question is, is the process of DNA replication starts anywhere, or is a specific location where it can start? Now, the place where it begins, where the DNA replication begins, it is called origin of replication. Good. Origin of replication. It is at the origin of replication that the process of replication begins, and it is also referred to as the ORI. O-R-I. Now, in case of even in case of your circular DNA, double stranded circular DNA, there also we have origin of replication that is essential for the process to begin. So when we create a plasmid, okay, what is a plasmid? Anybody can tell me? Anyone can tell me what is plasmid? Plasmid, switch louder. Anyone? Plasmid, what is plasmid?
So the DNA present in matrix.
DNA present in?
Yeah, or microbes.
Yes, DNA present in bacteria typically. There is the extra chromosomal double stranded DNA which is independent of replicate. They can replicate by themselves, right? They are independently replicating double stranded DNA which are extra chromosomes, apart from chromosome they are present. So when we design a plasmid in case of biotechnological studies, in that case also we need to make sure that the plasmid contains a origin of replication, and without this sequence, without this particular part, origin of replication, simply the DNA cannot function, DNA cannot replicate. So that is what you have to understand with the DNA of replication of DNA. Okay, anything else we have? Any other doubts you have? If not, I'll tell you something else. Okay, another question for you all then. Now, when do you think, right, you have a cell cycle? Do you remember the cell cycle? How many of you remember cell cycle? Phases of cell cycle, anybody can remember? Class 11th. Ankita? Please
Sir,
tell me.
haplodiploidy.
No, I'm not talking about plants. I'm talking about the phases of life cycle.
Sir,
Cell cycle.
G1 phase, then synthesis, and then G2 phase,
Excellent. Who is that student? Mansi. Yeah, good.
and
So,
intermediate something.
good, very good. So you have an intermediate stage, and then you are going to have the G1, S, and G2 phase, right? G1, S, and G2 phase. Good. Now, that is your gap 1, synthesis, and gap 2. Right, 3 phases are there. Now, what happens is in the gap 1, any idea what happens? Any idea what happens in gap 1?
The growth,
The
cell
DNA
growth.
replication, sir.
No,
DNA
not exactly. Somebody was saying growth.
Metabolically
Yes.
active, sir, in this.
Cell
Very
growth
good,
and
Princy.
metabolic reactions.
Very good, Princey, Ayush, and others. So here what is going to happen is in the G1, there is going to be a metabolism, there is going to be growth, and there is not much of division if you talk about. Now, when we talk about the S stage, it is very important because it is in the S stage or the synthesis stage that the DNA or the entire chromosome gets duplicated in the cell. So the S stage of cell cycle allows the DNA to be duplicated, DNA to be replicated, followed by the G2 stage where the proteins are required for the later process. Now, when we talk about the process of DNA replication, again, you have to understand that the S phase, the DNA gets replicated, but again, the DNA replication may not be 100% correct, may not be, what do you call, accurate. It always may not complement, that is A to T, C to G, right? This is what ideally should happen. But sometime due to the error in the, or inefficiency of the enzyme DNA polymerase, this may not happen. There might be certain error. A may not be combined with T, A might combine with something else. And in that case, those errors must be replicated before the cell goes to the next stage of division. Because if the cell goes to the division with that error of DNA replication, then that becomes a mutation, and that continues always. It will continue. The variation you have learned in junior classes, right? Or the mutation that you have learned in previous class also, mutation occurs like this.